What's up, everybody? Want to welcome you to the first lesson of the number system series. This is lesson 1, learning your major and minor scales. This will be I believe, a great start to understanding the number system. It is the basis of all that the number system is. It is based off of solely scales. If you can get your major scales down, you'll be leaps and bounds ahead of the game in conquering the number system. But this is the first lesson of that, and so let's just go ahead and jump right into it. Let's just assume that we are in C. And first we're going to discuss the major scale pattern. And that pattern is root, if I can get this marker to work, root, whole step, half, whole step, whole step, whole step, half. So we have root, 2 whole steps, a half, 3 whole steps, then another half. That's root, 2, half, 3, half. Hope it didn't confuse you there. But seeping our root, whole step from C, our root would be D. So this is the second note of the scale. That is our second whole step. Third whole step is another whole step, which would be E. We're done there. Then a half step from E to F is our first half step. Next is a whole step, which is G. Second whole step, A. Third whole step, B. And lastly, we are back to the root, or otherwise known in music theory to be the tonic, the root note of our scale. We are back at C with the last half step. Okay, awesome. Now that we have that, just for a moment, if you could take a moment and just see if you can, without rewinding the video, see if you can go back through your mind and remember that pattern, just for a few seconds. And while you're doing that, I will clear this board. And we will move on to the next scale. If you said root, whole step, half, whole step, half, you would be correct. That is the major scale. I'm going to spell major right. Major scale. Okay. Now let's move this around, because this pattern works anywhere, regardless of what your root note is or where you start. It will still give you the major scale. So say we start on a flat, such as E flat. Here we are. It's E flat. We're here. So E flat is our root. First whole step will lead us to F here. So that's out of our way. We need a second whole step. Whole step from F is G. Okay. Now we need a half step. Half step up from G is A flat. So let's just write this an A, B. A flat here. Let me just do this. E flat. E flat. A flat. Okay, we've gotten this half step. We need another whole step. Whole step from A flat is B flat. Why? Because all black keys, all neighboring black keys are a whole step away, whether that is whether that is D flat to E flat, G flat to A flat to B flat. Those are all half steps. All whole steps apart in intervals. So from this A flat to B flat is our first whole step. We need one more. So from B flat to C is our next note. Okay. We need another whole step, which will lead us to D, and then our half step, which will lead us back to, we are back to the root, the tonic, E flat. And here we are, we have our major scale yet again. This works anywhere. This works anywhere on the piano, regardless of where you start. If you're ever wanting to find what your major chord is for your for whatever key you're in, it is the root note. Sorry, I'm going to try and do this as best as I can. But your major chord is made up of your root, your second whole step, the first, the third, and the fifth note of the scale. And that is your major chord. So here we have our root. This is the second. This would be the third, fourth, and then we have our fifth here. So first, third, and fifth will reveal our major chord. So say we was to take away all the other notes except for our first, our third, and our fifth. Okay, we have our first, this is our second, it's the third, fourth, we take away the fourth, leave the fifth, we can erase the rest of this. And what we have before us is an E flat major chord. Thus what we get from our major scale. Hope this helps. This is the first lesson. There will be many more to come, breaking down application of the number system, where we put numbers to this and kind of open up. We kind of dug into that just a tad bit, kind of touched on it with our 1, 3, 5 here. But our second lesson coming up will be application of these scales, and our third and I believe final lesson will be the application or common shapes and chord progressions. See you next time.